Hello, my name is Stacy Schachter and I'm a registered dietitian with my master's in nutrition, and I'm really passionate about getting people the tools they need to make it realistic to a nourishing plate of food in front of you on a consistent basis. One of the biggest obstacles that I've found that a lot of people have is time and convenience. Now more than ever, there's lots of healthy ready-made meal deliveries, there's lots of restaurants that do healthy meal options, and that's great, and for some people, that's what I recommend them do. But for some people, that's a little too expensive. So I wanted to give people an option. What is the easiest, quickest thing you guys can do if you want to get that nourishing plate of food in front of you? I'm going to show you today how to do 18 meals. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 6 days of the week in less than 30 minutes of prep. Now, you can do a lot with these things. You can either have it on a prep day and create it all at once like I'm doing today, or you can split it up in 2 or 3 days of the week, make some of these things and use them as leftovers. What I commonly do is when I make food, I put them in big containers, and then the night before, when I go to work in the morning, like the night before, I will prep what I need to take with me, whether I'm going for just lunch or lunch and dinner, and I'll prep that just the night before. So that'll also save time. The goal is that you need to be able to make this a lifestyle versus something that you can only do for a certain amount of time. So oftentimes meal prep for people, I find some people can be consistent with it. A lot of people struggle because on your day off, you don't want to spend most of the day cooking for yourself. And I designed this specific for that person. Another thing that you can do is make extra and then freeze some in individual portion sizes, and that's going to give you the opportunity to have more variety because, and I do this all the time myself, when I run out of certain things, I look in my freezer and I look for individual serving sizes of protein and starches. I also use frozen vegetables often, and I just put them all in the container. I use my Hot Logic, plug them in under my desk, and it's good to go by lunchtime. So whether you're doing meal prep ahead or doing something similar that's easy the night before, these can all be really great tips for you. I'm excited to share them. All right, so this is an acorn squash. It's a winter squash. It has seeds inside, and if you try to cut it raw, it's really hard, but it's actually really easy to cut once it's been cooked. So you can wrap it just like the sweet potatoes and give yourself more variety. And this is 2 meals right here when it comes to starches. So it's a great option. You just wrap it up, you add it to the mix. This one could take maybe 45 minutes or so to cook. Just depends on your oven and the size of the acorn squash, maybe more, maybe less. This one is a purple sweet potato loaded with antioxidants. This is going to take less time than this one. This might take 30 minutes, 35 minutes. This one could take 40, 45 minutes or so. You set timers on Siri on your phone and you're good to go. These are ready to go into the oven. 3 minutes of washing and wrapping them in foil, and that is it. You are done, and you have a variety of starches, and there's more starches coming. Okay, so this is a rice cooker. I love this guy for only $19 at Walmart and on Amazon. The cheap ones are the best. Just that one button there, you just press it and forget it. So all we're gonna do right now is add some quinoa. This is the rest of the quinoa and the rest of the liquid. We just follow the instructions on the package for the liquid to grain ratio and you're good to go. This is black rice, so what I recommend people do is switch it up every week. Rotate your grains, do something different. Black rice is loaded with antioxidants, so it's a great option. Even though it says it's black rice, it's technically purple. You see it if it's soaked in water, so those anthocyanins, antioxidants, are loaded with nutritional benefits. It has a great nutty flavor, really great option. You can get it in smaller portion sizes at Whole Foods and online as well. Wild rice, also great options. So is like kasha, brown rice, other millet, other grains, all good options to rotate. So this is an Instant Pot. For those who don't have an Instant Pot, you can buy rotisserie chicken and it'll save you even more time. So you could also take chicken breast and throw it in the oven and bake it similar to those potatoes and how we're gonna do the vegetables and just sprinkle some seasoning on top. I'm doing this because I'm working with frozen chicken. So this is a great last minute option for people. get frozen chicken. A lot of times they'll say, you know, it has to be frozen in separate pieces for it to cook evenly, but I've done it when it wasn't that way and it still worked out. All you have to do is double check that it's cooked all the way when it's done. But if it's not, you just put it in for a few more minutes and it's good to go. So this is the chicken that we're doing. And first, what I'm gonna do right now is add lemon to it. So this recipe is sort of like a Moroccan style chicken where we're adding the juice of the lemons. And so we're just gonna squeeze this roughly. And then I love adding the whole lemon. So I'm gonna do that. Also, we're gonna cut up some onions right now and we're gonna put in the onions as well. And we just cut it up rough and put them in, and that's it. After that, we have these seasonings we're gonna throw inside and these as well. And we're just literally gonna dump it in, and that's it. We put it on the timer, we set it for high heat in manual mode for 30 minutes to start. And that should be enough liquid between these two jars and the lemon to do what it needs to do. Okay, so now we're gonna make a garbanzo bean salad, and this is gonna be for like Meatless Monday, but we're gonna have a couple other days in addition to that where we're gonna use garbanzo beans as our protein source. So right now we have, I'm gonna do a total of 2 cans, but this is 1 can. Very quick, easy, ready to go. Rinse it well, shake, shake, shake. And then we add it to the bowl of garbanzo beans. Now we have 2 cans of garbanzo beans. And all we have to do is add the seasoning. And the truth is that I measured this for you guys because a lot of people like measurements. I just shake seasonings. I take a whole bunch of seasonings and I shake it right in. But this is about half a tablespoon of sumac. This here is about a half a tablespoon of paprika. Then we have a teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and we have za'atar here. This is about a tablespoon of za'atar. Actually, it's 2 teaspoons of za'atar, okay? Now we're going to take the olive oil, and it's probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil we have in there, and the juice of about half a lemon. So I'm gonna squeeze that in there. We'll make sure that's all squeezed out, and it looks like the timer is going off on our Instant Pot, so we'll get to that as well. So that's our Instant Pot going off. We're gonna wait to do the release. And in the meantime, we're gonna cut this onion to go into the garbanzo salad. And you don't even need, this is a small onion, we're not gonna use the whole thing. We'll probably use about 1/3 of the onion. So we'll take this, we'll peel it off, and then we're gonna chop it up fine to go in the salad. So, here we go here. And between opening the cans, straining them, cutting the onion up, and sprinkling in the seasonings and then tossing them together, I would say this process probably takes maybe 4 minutes. Okay, so now the chicken is ready, and the easiest way to shred it is with 2 forks, one holding to keep it in place and the other one to shred like this. Out of everything, this probably takes the longest, but that's only if you want it fancy shredded. You can also just take a knife and cut them into chunks. And one of the things that I do after that is while the chicken is being shredded, I start reducing the liquid that's in there. And sometimes I'll add a little cornstarch to thicken it. And after that, I add all the shredded chicken or chopped up chicken back into the sauce, mix it all up, and that's what I'll use throughout the week. Okay, so now we're gonna make Mexican salmon in the air fryer. So basically all I do is this, again, Costco's, has a Mexican seasoning blend that I really like. And I just sprinkle that on pretty liberally. And then I sprinkle on some garlic powder. have, this is tahini, great stuff. It's at Aldi's, Whole Foods has it too. Really great flavor, adds that lime taste to it. This goes amazing with corn, by the way. So now we're going to take, and a little bit of salt instead of that. There we go. And we're going to now paint some olive oil on here. So you can also, and this would be quicker, for those who have the spray, most people with air fryers use the sprays. I like the Chosen Foods brand, makes a good propellant-free spray that is available. That one can be a great option. And you just spray it down, saves even more time. But this really doesn't take very long. And after that, we will be done. So this will go in the air fryer. I like to start it at about 8 minutes to check in on it because this is the sockeye salmon and it's very thin. So we'll start with 400 degrees for 8 minutes and we'll just check on it and see from there. Okay, so we're moving on to the other cooked vegetables that take longer than the first set of vegetables we have. So squash has a lot of water content. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to slice these up the long way. And then after that, I'm gonna sprinkle them with salt. So this first one, I'm gonna sprinkle with salt like that. And then let it go for a few minutes and then pat it dry to pull out that extra moisture. I'm gonna do the same thing cutting this squash. And after that, we're gonna put the rest of the vegetables on. We have some broccoli and some tri-colored cauliflower. That's all gonna go on the same baking sheet, and we'll tell you how to season it next. Now I'm going to roast these vegetables, but before I do that, we're gonna season them. So I do things pretty simply. My favorite is just garlic powder, paprika, and turmeric. And I just sprinkle it on, I don't measure anything, you know. It's hard to go wrong with these things. Paprika. Okay. A little more gentle on the turmeric. Paprika, it's hard to have too much. Turmeric, medium is perfect. We got a little salt in here. And then we're going to toss it up with a little bit of olive oil till it's evenly coated. All right, so now we're gonna be making some salads for the week. So buying these ready-made bags is a really easy way to get this going. So you can simply put some into the bowls. You can also use those mason jars. If you're using the mason jars or even the salad dressings if you want to, you can stick the dressing at the bottom. My favorite is Nona Pia's balsamic glaze and also some really good quality extra virgin olive oil. This is from the Olive Oil Hunter. So anyways, I also like doing these beets. These are pre-cooked beets. You just open them up, cut them up, and you can add them. So if you want to prep ahead, you can prep ahead for the whole week. I personally prefer to just prep the night before and have everything ready to go and on hand. I'm also adding for this week dried craisins and also the pumpkin seeds, sprouted pumpkin seeds. And those go really great in the salad, add a nice crunch. Okay, so this is breakfast meal prep. One of my favorite combinations that I've been doing lately is cream of buckwheat. And I do that with chia seeds, hemp seeds, and then I add a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of sea salt, and any type of dairy milk alternative because I'm allergic to dairy. So this is one that I like using. It tastes like real milk. I only use about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons max of this stuff. So even though I try to focus as much as possible on having fats from extra virgin olive oil and cold pressed avocado oil, and this does have a different type of like seed oil in it, the amount that's in it is I'm probably getting like 1.5 grams of that fat, and it tastes like real milk. So another option for those who can have dairy is instead of using 2 or 3 tablespoons of this, You can use like maybe a teaspoon of ghee and it would be delicious, and then just have the rest be water. And that would be one of my favorite ways to do it. Or you can do almond milk for those who can. I'm allergic to almond milk as well. So let's move forward. So basically what we have here is about 2 teaspoons of chia seeds and about 1.5 tablespoons of hemp seeds. Now you can make these already ready to go, where you can just dump it in the morning. How you would do that is you would add, here's the maple syrup, 2 teaspoons of maple syrup, and then we have the nut milk. We put that in here too. Just about, again, like that's about like 2 tablespoons, and the rest we're going to use water. Okay, so I'm going to put in a little water here to fill it up. Alrighty, and a little bit of sea salt. And you don't really have to mix it. You can if you want to, but we're gonna mix it in the morning. So you just cover this up, put it in the fridge, and it's ready to go in the morning. Now to prep for this so that you have minimal effort with your cream of buckwheat, this is what I typically do. I get the bowl ready the night before. I put about 2 tablespoons or a little more, 2.5 tablespoons approximately, into the bowl of the cream of buckwheat. And then I add about 3/4 cup of water. I don't measure this, honestly. I just get used to eyeing it and call it a day. And then I cover it like this. And I let it sit right near the microwave. And in the morning, I just put this in the microwave for 2 minutes. And then as soon as I take it out of the microwave, I take this out of the refrigerator and I pour it in and I mix it up. And if I need to add a little bit more water, I add a little bit more water to it, mix it up, and breakfast is done. This process of actually prepping it and all that stuff takes maybe 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, something like that, the night before, and you're good to go. Really, really simple and easy, and it's really delicious too. I like warm things in the mornings, and this really hits the spot. So we have the shiatsu peppers here. Both the asparagus and the shiatsu peppers are washed. That took about a minute. Now I'm going to take the shiatsu peppers and drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil and toss them in that, and then a little bit of sea salt. I like using the real brand sea salt that's from the lake in Utah. It's very nice. So we're tossing these up in here, and then I'm going to put them right over here. So because I have a toaster oven that has it's a bigger style toaster oven, I get to do these at the same time, and then I'm gonna be doing the asparagus over here. So I already cut the bottoms of the asparagus. I usually do like about 1/3 of a bunch at a time. You can do it very quickly. I'm gonna do these last 2 right here, and now they're ready to go. So we're gonna place these over here evenly and then start drizzling the olive oil. I use extra virgin cold pressed olive oil. I like this one because it has a seal on it saying that it's been traced from farm to bottle. It's Kirkland brand Spanish cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. And so I toss them up a little bit. I'm going to add salt and garlic powder and toss them a little bit more. Okay, so it doesn't really matter how you do the seasoning. You don't have to be perfect. Just sprinkle a little on and it's good to go. You toss, I mix it up with my hands. You can do whatever you want. And now we're gonna put it in the oven. I use my convection toaster oven and I put it at approximately like 375, 380-ish. And for these guys, they could cook pretty quickly. So I usually do around 13 minutes, 12, 13 minutes, test it out, see if they're good to go. Because with the asparagus, it depends on the thickness of the asparagus. So give it a try. Okay, so this is everything that we've put together today. So we will be having about 3 meals with these garbanzo beans, and we can pair them with either a sweet potato or the white potatoes or the quinoa. So we'll have it in a variety of different ways, and we'll pair them with different vegetables. Maybe one day we'll pair it with the salad, another day we'll pair it with some cooked veggies. So the sky's the limit with these combos. We're gonna have about 4 meals, and you can do a larger portion size if you need for the salmon, and then at least 4 meals with this chicken. We actually have plenty of chicken, so these we might wanna freeze as leftovers, or maybe might 5 meals of this, And if you like salmon and want bigger pieces, you can do 3 of these. Now we have a different starch for every lunch and dinner. So we can go between having half of an acorn squash, half of this white sweet potato, or half of a purple sweet potato, or some of these white potatoes that we're having, and stick those in the meal. Then we can have either, it's up to you, you can say, I want a little bit of salad and cooked vegetables with my lunch or dinner, or you can maybe choose to do just the salad as your vegetable with lunch and just cooked vegetables as your vegetable with dinner. The goal is that everyone should be able to get at least a cup and a half of vegetables with lunch and dinner with this setup. We have plenty of fruits and vegetables. We have plenty of protein. It's really nourishing, and this is all done in less than 30 minutes. So I want to mention this as an add-on because I didn't mention it before, because there's really no prep. I wanted to include just one meal that is another bean dish, but is like sort of ready-made. So this is also way less expensive than going to a restaurant. And it's very delicious, has spices already added. I like this brand. And you can simply add it to some quinoa and some vegetables and have it as one of your meals. And you just open it up and warm it up in the microwave or however you want to heat up your food. So I forgot to mention, one of my favorite points with this rice cooker is that you can simply cover it and put it in the refrigerator just like that and scoop things out as you wish. These are all the roasted vegetables for the week that you can fit in one container, and then just scoop things out the night before or when you're ready to reheat your meals. These are all those garbanzos, delicious and ready to go. So you see how it can get compact enough for you to take it away and keep it in the fridge for when you need it. Okay, so this is baked purple sweet potato loaded with antioxidants. We have air fried Mexican spiced sockeye salmon, some power greens, some craisins, and pumpkin seeds in there, and that's gonna be a lunch. We have here some Moroccan spiced chicken made in the Instant Pot and shredded with some quinoa and roasted vegetables. And then here we have another meal with the same chicken, and it'll be paired with acorn squash, also baked in the oven, just wrapped in foil. And then the night before, when I'm ready, I just pull out the seeds, cut it in half, add some of the spiced garbanzos we made, and we're gonna pair that with some slaw that also has some craisins and pumpkin seeds. All right, so I'm well aware I look like the Chiquita Banana Lady, but this is how I dress, so. And the bananas being here doesn't help, but they're really inspiring. I went to Fruits and Cahoots in Davie, amazing farmers market. But anyways, I wanted to close out by saying that we don't have to just do meal prep. Like, the ideas today can be helpful even if you're not prepping for the week. The ideas came from the Cooking Simplified section of my ebook. I have over 20 different ebooks for different elimination diets, and each ebook has a section like this for its specific elimination diet. But the ideas are not only for meal prep. So you can take ideas such as, getting a can of beans and a rotisserie chicken and a bag of pre-made salad or some frozen vegetables, and have dinner ready for yourself in 20 minutes or less with only 2 or 3 minutes of prep, without even having to do a meal prep day. So the ideas you hear today are not just for if you want to do meal prep. I really wanted to make it practical for everyone, because what I find is oftentimes people are very all or nothing. They get very motivated and then they spend their whole day off prepping meals, and then they get burnt out from it because it's not usually practical or realistic long term for many, many people, or they don't even do it because it's so overwhelming, and people just end up living off of like takeout and ramen and things like that. So what I try to encourage people to do is do something in between. Utilize some of these practical ideas, especially ideas that you can keep in the house that don't even go bad in a week. So for instance, frozen vegetables, like these starchy root vegetables, like potatoes, sweet potatoes, acorn squash, that'll last for more than a week if you don't decide to use them. Canned beans, those are really great things to keep on hand. And then you can get things on the way home from work last minute if you need to, such as a rotisserie chicken or a piece of fish to just throw some seasoning on and throw in the oven and bake, or the air fryer or something like that. So utilize the tips from here, even if you're not doing meal prep. And that's sort of what my takeaway, what I'd like to leave you guys with is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And I hope that the tips today were helpful for you guys to utilize in whatever capacity you think is realistic for your lifestyle. Thank you.